I believe this has been a very important season for several reasons. First of all, we have a very large formation on the 777, a formation that was observed almost at the same moment that was being produced by 3 different witnesses. And they were able to prove this with video. For the first time, we know that there was nobody in the field, nobody used some light or left some traces that this was done by humans. I think it's a very important event because now we can prove that these formations appear in a very short period of time.
My name's Gary King. I've been a crop circle researcher for 10 years now. I got involved in 1997. My girlfriend and I, Paula, went up to the top of Knapp Hill to begin a night vigil overlooking Eastfield. When we arrived there, it was about 1:30 a.m, we met up with a cameraman who had a set of cameras with him on top of the hill, and he also had 2 cameras parked down on top of his vehicle. When we arrived there, wind scanned the field across Eastfield, across the Drovers Road and the Field of Rape, and we could see that there were no formations in the time. That was at 1:35 a.m. He'd been continuously running tapes. These tapes that were on the cameras that were on his vehicles were hooked up to a bank of video recorders, 4-hour tapes. They were running off a battery main supply, which provided the mains inversion, so they ran all night. Apart from about a minute's tape change halfway through the evening, we've got sort of 16 hours of footage of the whole field all night. And then at about it turned out it was 3:13 when we checked back over the video footage, there was an almighty white flash of light, completely encompassed the whole sky. They couldn't see any point of origin of the light at all. We had a little chat about what it might be. It looked like sheet lightning, you know, the kind of effect you get with sheet lightning, sort of dull white light. But it wasn't a stormy evening, so it had been the only flash all evening. That reminded Wynne that it was about time he had to go down and change the tapes in the car, so he went down to his vehicle, changed the tapes over and came back up. We sat there for about another 20 minutes, and then just as some of the cloud cover was clearing and just a very dim amount of light was coming in from the east, we began to see an almost imperceptible shadow overlaying the field. So we questioned this and asked Wynne to stand up and look through the Sony VX2100. And through the lens of the camera, with the light sensitivity that's capable of, we could clearly see the 1,033-foot formation that was in the field, 7. So that was now 25 minutes after the flash. When we checked back on the video footage that was in the car, we found that the flash was at 3:13, and 20 minutes after that, at 3:20, you can clearly see the formation. So we've got 7 minutes after the flash. The formation is on the videotape, which is 7777.
Also, it's a very important season because we have seen many geometry related to religions. We know different formations where you can see what is considered divine formations. And in the last month, especially in August, we have seen different formations where the number 9, which is related to God, is present in every single place in that formation. I mean, if you look at them and you look the numbers, the number 9 is always present. I don't know what this means, but it has to be something, because if this is not produced by humans, and it's produced by an intelligence, they are trying to tell us on something using that number. Well, we found a specific date in a crop formation, August the 9th, 2005. We found the date, which is the 20th of May, 2012, related to an annular solar eclipse and related to the alineation of the Pleiades, the Sun, and the Earth, and in this case, even with the moon. It was a Mayan formation. This formation was analyzed by experts in Mexico, and these experts said that this date was very clear. They also found another date, which was 16 days after the eclipse, and this is the 6th of June, 2012. And this date is related to the transit of Venus through the Sun. Both astronomical dates are very important for the Mayan. The pyramid of Chichen Itza was built to honor the alineation of the Pleiades, which is the serpent, the sun, and the earth. And that is why this was a very sacred date. It's amazing that we now know that it's going to occur on 2012, and it's going to be related to an annular eclipse. 20th of May 2012 is an astronomical marker. We have to remember, July 11, 1991, we have a total solar eclipse in Mexico, most of the country, and we have many sightings. Accidentally, many people recorded that sightings with video cameras. That's when everything started in Mexico. That was an astronomical date, an astronomical marker. And this is the same. These intelligences don't use our calendars. They use the position of the planets. Then they are using this alineation, they are using an eclipse to tell us or to mark something special. I don't think they are marking a catastrophe. I don't think it's going to be the destruction of the world. I don't think they are saying anything special, but something that they are going to do. Probably communication, probably a big demonstration, probably something as it happened in Mexico in July 11, 1991, but now it's going to happen around the world. Probably they are announcing 16 days of sightings around the world or something. I don't know. I cannot tell you. I am a journalist. I am not a prophet. I am not a crazy man. I try to be, walking on the ground. And I don't know, but what I'm telling you is there. And this was analyzed by experts, and it's real. Then we have to consider that because it's not coincidental. Something else. In August 15, 2006, we have a formation, Lamat, a big cross. That cross is the sixth symbol of the Sol King. What is the importance of this? If we analyze the Dresden Codex, which is in Germany, by the way, the first day of the 5,125 years cycle, the first day is a Lamat day. The last day is a Lamat day. And by coincidence, May 19th is a Lamat day. It means that it's the end of an era. It means it's the beginning of the new era. I don't know, but it's too many coincidences. Then we have to consider that as a possibility. The Sol King is a calendar related to the cycle of 260 days, which is related to the gestation of the human being inside the womb. They divide this in 13 months of 20 days each. You can also find that in the formation of August the 9th, 2005. That's why we know it's the Sol King. And the sixth symbol of the Sol King, the symbol of Venus, is Lamat. Then, and it's also the symbol of the deep love, the deeper feelings, and also now is being related to the beginning and the end of an era. Probably is the symbol of the new times to come. Probably is the symbol of the old era finishing. But I don't think that's a coincidence. I think somebody is trying to tell us something. I find the word change in everything I do around this phenomenon. I think the change of times, it's coming. When I got involved in this phenomenon, I found an old prophecy, and this is also in the Dresden Codex. This prophecy says exactly, beware of the earth, the end of the jaguar nights, the beginning of a new era that is going to be built over the ashes from the last, and it's going to be the time of the meeting with the masters of the stars. And that's what really got me involved in this phenomenon. I am a journalist. I am not an ufologist. I was not interested in this phenomenon, but that really struck me because I knew that we have many sightings July 11, 91, and now we had this prophecy related to that eclipse. The big eclipses have prophecies for the Mayas, and they put these prophecies in the Dresden Codex. It's the time of the meeting with the masters of the stars. It's the end of an era that is going to be built over the ashes from the last. The end of the Jaguar Nights, the end of wars. You see, because we are going to confront very difficult times. The Mayans knew that the sun was going to have very big activity. In the prophecies, in the oral prophecies, people in Mexico know that the sun was going to have very high activity. Now the scientists are telling us that the next solar maximum, the number 24, since they started investigating this, is going to be the biggest ever. That's 2010, 2011, 2012. And the Mayans said that everything was going to be affected by the sun. It means we are going to die? I don't think so. It means everything is going to change. Why did they know about this? Because they knew about the solar cycles. They knew about the sunspots. They knew the cycles of the sunspots. And they knew this could happen. And probably they knew it could happen every 5,000 years. Now the question is, how did they know if this culture lasted for 3,000 years? How do they know? Where did they take the knowledge from? Let me give you probably a possibility, which sounds almost science fictional. March the 20th, 2005, two young kids were playing in the street with a ball, a football. And they were recording each other with a video camera inside the cell phone. And suddenly, an extraterrestrial came out behind a post and tried to grab one of the kids. Many people said it was a joke, was somebody using a facade or something to look like extraterrestrial. But then we found terrible radiation in the place, 800 times higher than usual, 800 times. That's 49 roentgens per hour. This energy was just around the post, okay? Now, 2 years later, is 1 kilometer away the post. And it's the same energy, is 49 roentgens. Now thousands of people are living inside that radiation. We don't know what is happening to them. It seems that they haven't been hurt because we don't know, but we don't know that for sure. Now the government is going to have to investigate because you cannot have 10,000 people living inside a very high radiation place. And now they are going to have to investigate this case. But what I'm trying to tell you is probably this creature came from a dimensional door. There is no other explanation for this radiation. And there are legends in the Mayas that said that some people disappear in front of everybody and then came back 10, 20 years later as they were when they disappeared, and they had so much knowledge. They could heal people, they could have the numbers for everything, for astronomy, for cycles. They were very wise men. Is that true? Is that a legend? Could that be happening right now? There are many reasons I believe the extraterrestrials are here, especially thousands of videos. I have videos with 1,000 objects moving, all of them together at the same time. I have 100 UFOs standing there making geometrical formations. I have 100 UFOs flying very fast in formations across the sky. There is no one who has more videos than me. And what impressed me there is people, are the people who are recording this. You see, the Mexican people is working like one, and they are observing the sky all the time, and anytime they record something, they send it to me to be presented in the television. And this is not happening anywhere else in the world. And that is what has made the difference. Then the most impressive thing is how the Mexican people has taken this seriously. And I can tell you because of the numbers of videos and evidences that we have that are so convincing that we are living an incredible experience. I was just telling you about one of them, an extraterrestrial being recorded by a camera. How can you explain 49 roentgens per hour? That's 800 more times of radiation in a place. How can you put that there? How can this radiation go further away to 1 kilometer from the center, from 4 meters to 1 kilometer in 2 years? How can that happen? That's a test. That's irrefutable test. Any scientist in Germany who wants to go to Mexico, take a Geiger counter, go there and try to explain something that is unexplainable. When they do that, I will accept it. There are many other videos, especially videos of UFOs close to the volcano, the relation of the UFOs to the volcanoes, how the UFOs appear and the activity of the volcanoes almost disappear when they were ready to erupt. That's December 19, year 2000. The volcanoes were ready to erupt. We have warnings from the University of Arizona saying the city should be evacuated, at least the south area of the city, Mexico, should be evacuated. And suddenly we had an incredible picture that was in the front of the papers of a UFO going very close to the crater and turning away. And after that happened, the activity of the volcano stopped when everybody said was going to erupt. All the scientists in the world. That has to be convincing. And there are other things like the formations in England. That's also very convincing because you cannot do this formation in one night. You know, for example, the so-called answer from the stars in the August 17, 2001. That's important because you need to be not just an expert creating a formation. You need to be an expert in binary code. You need to be an expert in genetic code. You need to be an expert in chemistry, in mathematics, to do something like that. Nobody so far has claimed that they did this because they couldn't prove it. Because the people who say that they do these formations, we can easily prove that they don't know anything about binary codecs. They don't know anything about the chemistry of the DNA. Just ask them if they know just a little thing, and they won't know. That's why they have never said they did that formation. The year after, this alien face in crabwood, 120 meters by 80 meters with this message in the hand. Who could do that? They say it's 2 nights. I don't care if it's 2 nights or 1 night. Who could do that? You see, those are real explanations those evidences are real tests, they are real proof that this is something else. The time will come where everybody's going to have to accept. In England is happening some of the most important events around the world. This is transcendental communication. We have to listen. For the first time, we have to listen. I don't think the governments are going to attack us or fake anything because they would have to accept that this is happening and they are not ready for this. The problem is we haven't developed the exopolitics. The problem is we don't know how to deal with them. We don't know how to negotiate with them. You know, We haven't established the rules. You know, for the first time, we are trying to get together to do something about the global climate change. If we don't do it together, it's not going to work. It's the first time. I hope this is going to help in the future to allow human beings to have a common front to deal with this phenomenon. The problem is we are not ready for this because we have lost 60, 70 years discussing if this is real or not. And the problem is that the governments are so ignorant about this phenomenon that they don't know how to deal with it. And people are even worse, except a few. Most people don't really know how to deal with this. But the time is coming, and it's going to happen. And at that moment, those who are not prepared are going to suffer a lot. They need to be prepared here more than anything else. They need to be ready to change. They need to be ready to be different. You know, things are going to change so much that it's going to be very difficult for us to remember these times. And that is going to happen, my friend. I'm a journalist. I am an investigator. I presented my first global climate change programs in the 80s. I announced the depletion of the ozone layer in 87. I announced the influence of the El Nino current in hurricanes and everything else in 88. Everything I said and many other things in my shows has already happened. And I tell you, man, this is going to happen. This is a reality. I'm not losing my time in this. And I think it's the most important thing that is really occurring to the human beings. We have now the chance to relate to this intelligence. We have the chance to survive. We have the chance to confront all the problems that are coming if we just open our minds. And that's the big challenge. We have to accept that the things have to change, that we cannot continue doing the same things, or that we are lost, or we are losing the world of our children. That's the reality.